Well, folks, how's it going? This is a weird one, right? This is not about a film. This is not about a book, particularly. This is not about an audio book or anything I've read or heard. This is just something, right, that's been going through my head the last few days because of various things I've listened to. And some of you you might hear what I'm talking about now, and you'll jump straight out because it won't be for you. You might think he's a flipping moron. Well, you won't think that because I'm not categorically saying anything's true. It's just speculation from stuff I've heard, and it's when you hear something and you have sort of quite a long time to think about it. And when something you've heard seems like it's plausible, it can tug on you, not on your you can. That sounds awful. It can tug on you, and then I said nothing else. Anyway, innuendos. It can tug on you like not your conscience, but like the thing I've been in my head is so outrageous and outlandish that I keep swinging back and forth between, this could be something to this theory. And then I keep swinging to the other side of don't be so bloody ridiculous. Do you know what I mean? I've got one foot in each camp. And the reason I've got one foot in each camp of this outlandish theory is because there's some merit to it. I can just see that it could be true. Now anyone that doesn't have an open mind will instantly poo-poo it. But what I'm talking about, and it's a connection of two things, or actually no more than that, but the main connection is the David Paulides missing 411 cases where people have just disappeared out in national parks, and it's not even limited to national parks in America. It's like urban areas as well now. It seems to be the cases. I did a 40-minute video about this months ago, if anyone's heard that. But it's between the David Paulides missing 411, like I said, and wait for it, any of you that know his name, the David Icke reptilian theory. Now, if I've got 20 people that listen to this, there's probably 10 of them have just jumped straight out because they're like, you shut up, you moron, you know what I mean? If they know who David Icke is. But I do listen to a lot of his stuff. I don't say I buy into all of it at all, but I'm open to it. And I've been listening to a lot of this theory of his that humankind has been like ruled for, I don't think it's even centuries. I think it's longer than that. I think it's like thousands of years. Has been ruled and manipulated by a reptilian-ish sort of race from another, not from another. It is probably from another dimension, but he says it's actually no. Does he say that? Anyway, some sort of reptilian, dimensional being that can. You know what? I can't even explain it here. If you want to look into the David Icke reptilian stuff more, then look into it elsewhere, and then come back, because I am not intelligent enough to retain all the information, or all the speculation, if you want to call it that, whatever, all the stuff that I've heard. I can't even retain it all. It's blown my mind. I mean, I have heard about it before, but I've really got stuck into it this week. I don't know why. I just have, and I've seen this connection, right? He's saying about what he says about how, and also there is fact to this, as far as I know, where there is so many missing children and people that go missing every year, and it's never explained, i.e. with the David Paulides stuff. But the point I'm getting at is, if there was any truth to the David Icke theory, it could tally with the David Paulides missing 411 stuff. Do you know what I mean? I just see a connection there. There could be something to it, you know. I mean, when it comes to the unexplained, you know, these phenomena, these cases of missing people, I mean, nothing. I don't think any theory of what it is should be out of bounds. I don't think you can take anything off the table when it's as mysterious and unexplained as this. I think if someone comes up with a theory, you have to listen and you know, I mean, take it with a pinch of salt, of course, but never shut the idea down, because you just never know. You really just never know. Now, I mean, I know a lot of people ridicule David Icke. I mean, he came out in 1990 with, I mean, he tells the story of how it happened to him. He had like an awakening. I think it was something to do with ayahuasca and DMT, the drug, which I've speculated before. Where does it, you know, does it open doorways to other dimensions, or is it all in your head, or what? But if he had something like this, and it opened his mind to all this stuff, and he says that once you open your mind to all this stuff, it's like a synchronicity. When you're delving into a subject, that subject matter from all over the place comes to you. And but I know a lot of people ridicule him, but listening to him, and I even watched this body language expert on YouTube. I think she used to be called Lombards or something like that, but I think it's Body Language Ghost or something now. But I saw a video that she did on David Icke, and I remember before I watched it thinking, I hope she doesn't say that, you know, he's just blatantly lying about everything, because that would kind of, you know, because he's convincing to me personally. I believe he's convincing. Like I said, I don't just blindly go into anything, but I definitely take it on board and consider it a possibility. But yeah, she did this. This body language woman did. She read his body language, and she said that he absolutely believes what he's saying is true. And she also said at one point, when he was doing his talk, and he had to, and it went into the area of the reptilian. Pardon me. When it went into the air, when he had started the part of the talk that touched on the reptilian theory, she said he did this little move where he knew what he was about to say was going to sound absolutely ridiculous, but he just had to say it anyway. You know what I mean? So after watching that, I was quite pleased, because not that it's, again, you can't take anything as gospel. She might have read it wrong, but she said, like, he absolutely believes what he's saying. But yeah, this it's just this missing 411 thing. I just keep thinking, like, is it related to it? Is it the same force that's snatching these kids away, or these people away? And when you think about it, there's the Lovecraft connection, because I think I've said in a previous video as well, like, what if Lovecraft's stuff wasn't fiction? What if he knew what was going on, and he was a part of it and was sort of writing about it just to sort of rub it in people's faces because they'd never believe it, if you will, or if he sort of knew about it and didn't, you know, and wanted it to get out there, was giving people clues and stuff, or if he's, like I said, he stumbled across it. Who knows? But that's the connection, because it all connects to that as well. This, you know, when you think of like beings from other dimensions coming through and controlling mankind and you know, whatever. I don't know. I mean, before I started recording this, I thought I'm going to get stuck and I'm going to stumble over my words a few times, because it is such a complicated subject matter, and I really am not. I'm not super intelligent. I'm not, you know, got a great memory. I can't retain all that information. But I mean, I just thought it'd be worth mentioning. I thought at least, you know, whoever listens to this would be interested to know what goes on in my head, because then you know, it might be the sort of thing that goes on in your head, and if it isn't, it might be now I've said it, you know what I mean? You might give it some thought, but I mean, I don't, you know, I mean, to be fair, when you think about this stuff, a lot of it can be quite scary as well, because if this was true, like I say, when I listen to the David Icke stuff, I swing from like one end to the other like a pendulum. Like I'm over here and I'm like, shit, this is true, you know what I mean? This is horrific. This is like mankind is just this other dimensional being. Like mankind is its plaything, you know what I mean? And it's just picking us off and doing horrendous things to us, putting us through shit. And everyone goes through shit, you know what I mean? Everyone goes through good times, everyone goes through bad times. But it's scary when you put too much thought into it. And like I say, I swing to this side and I'm like, oh my God, you know what I mean? And I believe it all. And then I swing back again and I catch myself believing it. I'm like, nah, don't be so stupid. And then there's somewhere in the middle where it's swing, and I'm like, you know, I just don't know. And it blows me mind because I don't know, and I probably never will know, you know what I mean? You never will know. But it's just, there's a lot of information out there to be heard, so I think it's at least worth hearing. The David Icke stuff and the David Paulides stuff and the Lovecraft connection in the middle. You know what I mean? And I'll tell you what as well, I do, it not despair, but I suppose despairing thoughts sometimes when I think too much about this stuff, because obviously, like, if there's any validity what David Icke says, then this force, these beings are controlling mankind, and they push them towards, we're pushing us towards war all the bloody time. Anything bad that happens in society, you put a lot of thought into, and you think, well, why is this happening? Why are we doing this? And there's something pushing the human race into these things. And like David Icke's picked up on, he says a lot of stuff about wars and that, and about all like kids that have been killed in wars and stuff. And there's these beings have no empathy, because like he says that you can sit there and say, no, these, you know, they wouldn't do that, or they, you know, famous faces. He says there's a lot of famous faces, celebrities in the world that are part of it. And like he says that a lot of them can do horrific things, and the average person will be like, no, they, you know, couldn't do that. But he also then says that anyone with empathy would say that, because you've got empathy and you can put yourself in other people's shoes, the feelings of other people, and you know that you damn well wouldn't want it done to you, so you wouldn't do it to them. But he says these beings and the what are the words he used? Not like famous people are the sort of the human representatives, if you want, of these. Well, no, what does he call them? The Illuminati? No, not the Illuminati. The Anunnaki or something like that, or the Chitauri. Not the Chitauri. Yeah, it's something like that actually. The Chitahari, that's it. He calls them. But there's loads of names from. But anyway, a lot of famous people are the representatives of these beings on Earth, and that's why they're so successful. You know what I mean? That's why they're so successful. But what I can't deal with is the parts where he tells you about like the wars and things that have happened have all been intentional, and bad things that happen, they're intentional to make the human race feel hopeless and fearful, and you know, because they thrive on the fear of people. And I can't cope with that shit when it comes to that point, because I think you just think about all the kids and that have been hurt in wars and abducted and whatever, you know what I mean? There is a lot of this stuff. There's a lot of information out there to be found out about missing kids and stuff. And when it delves in too much to the missing kids aspect and what he says happens to them, I honestly, my mind just goes dark for a bit until I can get out of it for a bit, you know what I mean, and put my mind somewhere else. I just can't cope with the thought of kids getting hurt. I've said that before when I watch films, when I've watched them on here, and I've said, look, I just can't, you know, I can't deal with kids getting hurt, or animals. You know, it's not nice to see anyone get hurt, but it really pushes me buttons when I see kids getting hurt, because I just you want to do something about it. So at that aspect of it, what he says, he really gets to me. And so there's only so long I can listen to it, you know, and I have to pull myself out and put my mind somewhere brighter, happier. So it gets too much. But yeah, I think all of it's worth thinking about. All of it's worth investigating, and there's not enough investigation of things these days. Like, I mean, people that listen have heard what David Icke said, do ridicule it and poo-poo it straight out the gate without giving it any thought. So I think a lot more people need to at least give it some thought. I really do. And then make your own mind up. You know, like I said, I haven't made my mind up one way or the other. I don't think I ever will. But it's worth knowing, isn't it? Anyway, I'll probably leave it there. I hope I haven't alienated too many of you. I just thought I'd get it off my chest, what I've been thinking about. Because to be honest, unless you come out and say how you're really feeling about something, you don't know. You know, I could sit here and say, well, I'm not going to talk about that because I might lose half my subscribers. But like I said, that don't really bother me too much. But I think the plus side of it is you could talk about what you think and how you feel, and you find like-minded people. You know, you can't go around just living a lie or having, you know, suppressing your own opinions because you think other people would. It's like David Icke says. He says it's like a prison. The fear of what other people think is a prison, and it stops so many people from saying or doing the things they feel to be right because they fear what other people think. And I think we all do that. I do that to an extent, although part of me, in aspects of my life, don't. But I think you just have to. Come out and be who you are and say what you feel and hope for the best. Anyway, I think I'll leave it now. And like I say, I hope I haven't alienated too many of you. And if you don't agree with what I've said or think it's bullshit, then that's fine. That's fine. You don't need to sort of be vocal about it. Just don't listen. You know. That's all I can say, really. Anyway, thanks for listening. And maybe I'll come back with something more, you know, the normal sort of thing I'd be talking about in the next video. This was maybe just a glitch. Anyway, cheerio for now then. Thanks a lot. Bye.